This is the Date Night Dice podcast, a podcast mostly about board games.
Probably not.
Hello and welcome to episode number 47 of the Date Night Dice podcast. I'm Ben.
I'm Em.
And we are recording.
For
right?
once, yes.
Yes.
Okay,
We are.
I'm Ken.
Ken, get
Hey,
this.
everybody, I'm Ken. Sorry.
You're never going to believe this, so
You probably
you
will
are
believe
totally
it.
going to believe this. The last time we recorded a podcast, I forgot to hit the record button. We recorded like 30
It wasn't a
minutes.
podcast. It was like a video. Oh, no. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
For the podcast, too.
It was
like
the podcast,
30
yeah.
minutes.
Well, he did this the other day
Oh, you
for a
did
video.
it again.
The
Nice.
other
That's what
day,
I thought you were trying to say.
we were recording a Board Ventures video, Gen Con preview, which will never exist. There will be a version of this video up, but it's everybody submitting their own picks. Because the version that was like this, with everybody doing talking heads to each other, I never hit record the whole thing until I went to wrap it up. And then I went to go hit the stop button, and it was still just sitting like.
Like, ready to go anytime.
What was funny is
How many people were there?
it was us, and then it
two
was
others.
Professor Meg, and then Nelson from Fantasy and Some Flights, and it was probably about a minute before the end. I remember I wanted to look and see how long the recording had been going. And I looked up in the upper left, and there was no time. And I looked over at the end broadcast button, and it said record.
My heart
Yeah.
rate is rising.
And I didn't know what to do. Should I admit my mistake right then? After we recorded it was like an hour-long conversation, and it was really good.
no.
It was good. Like, we all, talked about things. Like, it was really good. And, yeah, I know.
I didn't know what to do. So I just wrapped it up. We hung up the call. And then next day I said, guys, something happened to the recording. We're going to have to
so
redo
you
it.
lied. Well,
I didn't lie.
No,
Not
I think
technically
he
a lie.
said I messed up.
I said,
Okay.
I said, hey guys, this is Ben, because it's just the Date Night Dice account on there.
Sure.
I screwed up the recording,
Yeah.
and it's gone.
Okay.
there
It's
never
gone because
was.
it never existed.
Gone because
Yeah.
it never existed. And I knew that while we were talking to each other. And I didn't want to tell you then because I was so embarrassed.
It
I'm
was.
trying to think of an analogy of I didn't want to dump you because the relationship was never real in the first place, or I have imagined we have dated very closely for the past 6 months, and I think it's time to break up. But
It's
because
almost like it's almost like if somebody was working on something and you were standing behind them and all of a sudden realized everything they're doing is for nothing, and you just don't have the heart to tell them.
But you're also the guy in the chair doing the work,
Yeah.
right?
It really was like that.
It was insane.
Oh,
I don't.
man, that sucks.
It also went from
I'm so sorry.
I thought we had everything done to now I have to edit so much stuff.
Well, that was the thing. It was well, that was a great video. I'm glad we did that. To well, now we have nothing, and we're starting from scratch, and we need a video
Yeah.
by Tuesday.
That's why I told Ben
Yeah.
to start recording about 10 minutes ago because I
I'm an idiot.
was like, do it now
no,
so that we
no.
don't forget.
I mean, if I have the closest analogy I have is all of my work is cloud based, saved and backed up and stuff. And I'll close out of stuff. And sometimes it's just a little slow on the upload.
That's
And so I'll
scary.
finish it. I'll close the Microsoft Word document. I'll go to email it and I drag it. And now out of habit, I drag it into the email and then I double click it in the email to reopen it and look at it. And this happened, it must have been Sunday. I was finishing something up and I opened it and it didn't show any of the stuff I had just done
Oh my
for several hours.
Oh no.
It was fine.
That's-
It just didn't get uploaded yet.
That's
So I
so
just
scary,
closed
though.
it and it shows the little loading sign. I waited. Thank goodness. But then it's if you have to redo it, you just
That's-
can't. It's just not as good. Even if
No.
you did it word for word the same,
It's not as good. It's just
it's
like
just
in
never as good.
high school or college, you write a paper, it somehow gets, You
Sure,
F up,
yeah.
it gets deleted, and you're like, but that first sentence, like that intro was so, and you can
I had
never
it.
replicate that
Yeah.
again. I remember doing that, and I was like, what did I say? That was so good, and never again.
I think most of it just comes down to loss of confidence
Yeah.
in the first one and then lack of confidence in the second draft, right?
That's true.
It could be the exact same thing. And it's just like, this feels weird for some reason.
Yeah, right?
And
It's
doubly
not quite
tired
as good.
and
But I think that's
mad.
the big difference between like let's say that happened to you now with your law stuff, or in any sort of professional setting, it would be annoying, but then you would just redo it. It's kind of like that's the difference between like a student and a professional. Like as a student, you're like, I got one shot at this. If I screw it up, it'll never be as good. And a professional's like, I'm going to write this and I'm going to reread it and I'm going to proofread it. I'm going to fix it. Maybe I'll have somebody else take a look at it.
I'm still at one shot. I'm still there.
Never upgraded.
Never upgraded yet. I'm still there.
But I mean, it was the same. It was, we did have to record something after that. And it was like, okay, well, this is what went right and this is what went wrong about that conversation.
Yeah.
So
True.
let's say these things now. And it's because we've been doing this a while. I just saw the other day that we had our 2-year anniversary of the podcast.
Wow. Congrats.
Yeah.
Can you add a little
Congrats.
sound
You're
effect right
on the
here?
frickin' show.
Yeah.
Congratulations to yourself.
Yay. Pat myself on the back.
2
There we
years.
go.
2 years, really? Yeah.
So I'm surprised that you're here tonight because you were just on vacation and yet here you are in the studio.
Well, we drove back this morning. It's
Studio.
not.
How far was the? Okay, so where'd you go and how far was the drive?
This was a kids' vacation. This one was mostly for the kids.
They
which we
always
do.
are. Not always, but you know what I mean.
Not always. This one was definitively for the kids.
Yeah,
We went to
this is
Great
for
Wolf
sure.
Lodge, which there's one 18 minutes from our house. It is a claustrophobic nightmare because it's what feels like you're just in a hotel all the time.
Oh,
went
it's
to
not
Great-
good.
It's fine for a day, 2
Yeah.
3 days. I would never do that, and we never have. We've always felt like, let's get out of
Never
here.
will.
Right.
We went to Great Wolf Lodge, Wisconsin Dells, which I believe is the water park capital of the United States.
Absolutely.
Woo.
For whatever reason, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know why someone was like Wisconsin.
They don't have an abundance of water or slides. I don't. It's all man-made,
They
right?
do
It's not-
now.
They do now.
Yeah, now they do.
But the poll for me and Megan was, well, we can do 3 days because they have an outdoor pool. They have outdoor slides. They have outdoor
See, that's
stuff.
the nice thing about summer, at least.
Right. And pleasantly, it's way, way bigger. Whereas the Minnesota version, they sort of, I think it was an existing water park that they purchased and
Yeah.
then
Like switched
retrofitted, converted, whatever. And it's so packed. It's so
Ew.
tight.
That's the
And this one, it
worst,
just
too.
felt sort of like, okay, well, we're going to go they have a thing called Magic Quest, which is like a wizard game, and you buy a wand and it shoots an infrared thing at targets or whatever, and you complete
Yeah.
quests. In the Minnesota Great Wolf Lodge, all of that crap is just dispersed on the
like
main floor.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I think I saw it once. It was like around the hotel randomly or something.
Yeah, so you're just walking through like, oh, there's the Dunkin' Donuts wizard, and you have to shoot the target behind the Dunkin' Donuts, and there's a line of 50 people for the Dunkin' Donuts. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Ben.
Oh, it's all on one floor though in the Minnesota
No,
one.
it's a hotel.
But
I
I
don't
mean,
know how
I
many
think it's like
stories it is.
like the same one as what we probably went
But
to.
the wizard game, is it all on one floor?
What the difference is? No, it's on multiple floors, and
Yeah,
so
you
it's
gotta
like,
like zoom around,
we have to march through this restaurant to complete the quest.
right?
Zap this target on the other side,
And the
then
kids are like
leave.
in PJs at that point. And
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, this one, it was the first Great Wolf Lodge, from what I understand. And
Ooh.
everything has a dedicated area. So if we're playing the wizard game, I'm going to
that's
sit on
kinda
this
nice.
bench and you guys are going to run around this 3-story, like basically jungle gym with all those little targets.
Oh,
That's so much better.
It's like its own area.
Yeah.
Yeah, I literally sat on a bench for 2.5 hours, and they wore themselves out.
Yeah,
with
that's
the
better than
insanity.
being like, you're going to go by the third floor creepy room over there.
Right.
And they're
Like
like in the corner. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, outdoor pool, much more spacious. It was not crowded at all, which is the
That's
Minnesota one is always packed to the gills. You're rubbing up on people trying to get to the pool. Anyway, it was fun. We did 3 days.
Did you
3
guys go to
nights.
Noah's Ark while you were in Wisconsin Dells?
No, it's
At one point, that was the biggest water park in the U.S.
That was the big one. I went there once, but it was
didn't
just
even see
inside
it.
during winter. So
I think I've
don't
been
think
there
I-
3 times.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
It's
It's pretty-
big
it's
Noah's
pretty,
Ark.
yeah.
Are. Huh?
It's like as big as like a
It is
roller coaster
huge.
amusement park.
Yeah.
Really?
It's like huge.
Yeah, it's very
insane.
big. Has
No
like
way.
3 wave pools. You know, it's
Yeah.
a big
Okay.
place.
Those are
I'll
really
put that
cool,
on the
though.
list. Nice.
Like, I will admit that once you get past, because when you're driving to Wisconsin Dells, half the time it's the like weirdest crap on the side of the highway
yeah.
and
The most
buildings and like
touristy
all the
stuff.
touristy
Yeah.
upside down building.
3-story
and,
mini
like,
golf next to the like.
It's so insane. And so I remember driving there. I think we were like in college and driving there. We're like, I don't know if I want to be here. Everything is just so
Yeah.
touristy. And then once you get there, you're like, oh, it's actually like really
it's
nice
okay.
inside.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's not bad,
That's
but it
funny.
is very touristy, like big time.
Yeah,
But-
which the kids like that though, right? They're into
Yeah.
the. We went to the Moose Jaw Pizza
Yeah,
place,
they want
which I
the
sent a
shirts
picture
that,
of.
like, yeah.
This Moose Jaw Pizza place, which
Man, I
had
loved this. I
they
just loved
they had
this.
no less than 8 or 9 2005 Burgundy PT Cruisers with a sculpted moose.
Have you
going-
seen the picture of
Yeah, I
this?
saw the picture.
Going
They're like
from-
in a line too, which I
Yeah.
really enjoy.
And
I'm gonna
those are
find
just those are just the cars in the parking lot. How many
Oh
are
my
out
gosh.
delivering? Right? It was
How
great
are you
pizza
finding
though,
this?
so I
I'm
highly
gonna
recommend
find this
it.
and
Oh,
share
well
this.
then that's worth it.
Really?
It was great pizza. It was very it was sort of a little bit of Detroit style deep dish with like that crusty cheesy edge, but the inside it wasn't nearly as bubbly. It was a little more cakey almost. It was thicker.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
almost like a Chicago style.
I was gonna say it reminds me of
That's
like
how I
a
would
Chicago
describe it.
deep
Yeah.
dish. Yeah.
Yeah. It had
Like
the
I'm some
Detroit
expert.
like super grease. Yeah, here's so 1, 2, 3,
at
4,
this.
5, 6. There were several
that.
around the corner, and this thing
It's
is
insane.
with a moose straddling the PT
I
Cruiser.
really enjoy it though.
Here we're gonna do the. Sorry for anybody on audio,
The
but
whole thing
two.
has to be this.
we're gonna
now
do
for
the rest of the podcast
I
with the PT
can't. I can't
Cruisers.
see.
Yeah.
I'm panicking.
Yeah.
Why are there so many PT Cruisers?
Why
I don't
PT Cruisers? I guess that they like got
They're
a steal
cheap.
of a deal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Nobody
like
wants one.
They probably
I
bought a
guess.
fleet. They probably bought like. No, I'm serious. It was
not
probably
to mention
like
that
some.
color.
That's
Can we
a,
get-
it's a 2005 car of the year. What do you want?
Oh, man.
I mean, come on. It's a beautiful
break.
machine.
I would always see purple ones like that. Like
Always.
purple.
The only
Really?
the only
Why?
color is that
Yeah.
like it's sort of a purplish, almost blue. It's so
yeah,
dark.
that's the one.
That's
I would
it.
I
always
only
only
see
in
the
that
burgundy.
color.
burgundy. Really?
I don't think I've ever seen the burgundy, but why?
Oh,
It's like
man.
the ugliest colors, and not like why.
Things
So
were
like we're
different.
gonna have
back
two
then.
colors, but
Yeah.
Well,
it was
it's
good
fun,
fun
though.
though. Yeah.
Nice. Our kids took a vacation without us. That was also good fun. It seemed like they had a good time,
They
and
did.
I'm sure they did. We were like 9 or 10 days without kids. Got absolutely
Wow.
nothing done though.
nothing.
That's
got done.
okay. That's okay. And I'm saying that because I would feel the same way. I'd be like, I didn't get any. I'd be so mad. I didn't.
Yes, exactly.
Why didn't I build a shed? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like all the things I could have painted, like all.
no.
but nothing got done. But that's what we did get a chance to go like out to eat a few times and stuff, which was fun.
Nice.
That's true. We also cleared
Awesome.
up all the space for the fence.
Yes, that was a lot of
Doing the
work.
fence?
And why do we need
Yeah.
a fence, Emily?
Because we got a puppy.
Man,
you get a
oh,
puppy
man.
and you get
you
a puppy.
have 2 puppies. Let's be clear.
Yes, we do have 2
Right.
puppies, essentially. Yeah, so, okay, but here's the thing. So we had been looking, because we were told that our fence would be installed July 11th. Then it was July 18th. And so
no.
I was
still
like,
not there.
any day now. Now
Yeah.
they're telling us Monday. So everybody, fingers crossed.
Fingers
here.
crossed, everybody.
Yeah.
But he did come
Yeah,
out to
right.
like look at stuff. Like we got a little more than we had in the past, so we should be good.
That's
but we had been looking for a friend for Potato because she is like instead of
needs
her trying
somebody.
to escape the house to go to neighboring dogs, like
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But the main thing was I sent Ben like a link from Pet Finder, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, look at this puppy!" But then Ben was like, "Did you apply yet?" And that was when I thought that was more of like a joke. Like I didn't think you would actually. And then the next
Did you
day,
see him though?
he was adorable. And then the next day, he was like, "Seriously, did you apply?" And I'm like, "Okay,
Wow.
sure."
Well, everyone
go.
knows you're getting another puppy, and if we're gonna get a puppy, I wanted it to be that one.
Well, he
Yeah.
Stop! Don't leave Emily in charge
Wait.
of the puppies.
Oh, stop.
You end up with a bunch of freaking maniacs. She can't be trusted.
husky sass.
Yeah, nobody likes
Yeah.
that.
Well, I wasn't going for husky, but my main thing was like in Pet Finder, you can say, you know, like good with this or this size or whatever. So I said good with dogs, cats, and kids, and he popped up, and
There
we
he was,
applied for
the
him.
King,
And so he's a Great Pyrenees.
right?
Is he? I thought he
he's
was a
fo-
lab at first.
No,
Just a
he's-
very shaggy.
He's just like shaggy, the long hair. He's 4 months old. So
Oh my
he's
gosh.
young, but he
He's
has to be
big.
like 55 pounds already.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
he's
he's huge.
right on track. So if you look at 4 months being 55 pounds, then
Jeez.
a male adult is
How big
between
do they get?
120 and 150
Okay.
pounds.
Wow. I think the first pictures I saw of him, he was by himself. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like a white lab. That's hard
Yeah,
to find.
Right.
And then you had a picture of him next to Potato. And Potato's not small. She's not particularly
pretty tall
big.
dog.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he's like 70 pounds or
And I
something.
realized
You know,
he's
she's
the
tall.
same size as her.
Yes.
It's a
Which is
big dog.
insane.
Yeah.
But he is like the calmest, like easiest dog
Yeah.
I've
Sometimes-
ever met in my life.
Sometimes he gets
Nice.
going.
He does him getting
Gets fired
going
up.
is like
Not really.
it's like Potato walking. Like his
Yeah.
speed is in slow
He
motion.
picks up the pace a little bit, in which end he just trips over stuff.
And he falls and trips on himself a lot. But like he
He's
doesn't
too big for his britches.
He is. Like he doesn't chew on anything. He doesn't
Oh,
nibble. He
wow.
doesn't like he's so easy and so calm and it worked out great. So
He pooped in the gym this morning because he thought it was
Well,
outside.
he
Who
ran
hasn't?
outside though.
Yeah, who hasn't?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I
Yeah.
mean other than that, like he's been potty, like he's great.
Nice.
I left the door cracked for him because I was out there like stretching this
I was
morning.
gonna
and
take a picture of saying Ben wants a gym dog, but then he was like pooping next to the gym. So I was like,
came out
never
there.
mind.
and he was like, "Oh, finally!" And
Oh,
then I was
thank
like,
God.
"Gosh, dang it, stupid dog."
You even got us thinking about, maybe it's time for number 2 again. I don't know. We'll see though.
Well, we need
It
that
just
fence.
depends on the man. He is so easy peasy
We
though.
need a not husky for sure. As
Oh my
much as I
gosh.
love them,
No
it's
kidding.
like time to tone
No.
it way down.
Well,
That's why I was like, she sent me a picture of a dog that looked like a big golden retriever, and I was like, give me
Yeah.
that. I want
Get 'em.
that.
well, the thing
Get
is,
'em.
Stop
they're
getting these maniacs.
well, okay. Well, I always get from like some sort of rescue, which he was. We did get him from a rescue, but it's impossible to find
Yeah.
like
yeah.
some sort of golden retriever that isn't like $3,000.
Well, that's true. I don't want to go out and pay $1,200 for like a purebred.
You'd
Like,
be
I don't
lucky to
care
get
if he's pure-
anything for
There's a mountain-
$1,200.
Exactly.
To be
Yeah.
honest.
There's a
Yeah.
mountain of dogs that need to be rescued, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why he was from his rescue was like 15 minutes away, which is like
Awesome.
okay, that works perfect,
Awesome.
and so
Yeah.
it worked out.
Cool.
But he's upstairs
wait to meet
breathing
him.
heavy right now,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
sleeping.
Well, the other thing that happened while the kids were gone was QuinCon. So QuinnCon, Ryan Quinn, local gamer friend,
Local legend.
Local hero.
when
Yeah.
Gen Con 2020 was canceled, they said, well, we're not going to get together, and they started QuinnCon. So this is the third annual QuinnCon. And it actually was a little bit bigger this year because there's a couple of guys that are moving. And so we do LAN parties every so often. So they wanted to combine a weekend of board games with a LAN party. And then the invitation went out a little wider. I know, Ken, you almost came if I hadn't been
No.
stuck working.
Man, no.
No.
It was too much money to fly.
Well, yeah, flights are like, you got to like cut your arm off at the
Yeah.
security to like
Yeah,
get
it was
a
a
plane.
deal. It only happened for a second because prices dropped back down to what they were at April.
Oh,
Right?
crazy.
They were like $650 in April, and they skyrocketed
That's
since then.
insane, though.
And then
That's
the
cheap.
month, 2 days beforehand, it fell back down to that $650 price. I
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh.
yeah, I can't believe I'm considering.
Yeah.
I mean, I
When
want
you're
to
like,
hang
well,
out
this
with you
is
guys.
cheap.
This is a deal, air quotes,
God.
on a flight
Well,
that's normally 130.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Exactly. That's
so-
why it's.
Well,
It
we'll
just
get
didn't
you out
make
here.
sense.
We
Yeah, we'll get
have
out
to. It needs to happen. You got to come out, hang out.
Yeah.
We'll have a weekend of gaming. We'll get those guys together to games too. It'll be great.
Yeah.
I unfortunately was stuck with some work stuff, but I did manage. So QuinnCon was Thursday was board games, Friday was LAN, which Ken, you played some
Oh, yeah.
Supreme Commander. I saw everybody was talking about how you won the game. I think
Only because, geez, what's the phrase?
did.
Maybe.
On a technicality,
Doesn't matter.
a
don't need to tell
triumphant
everyone
victory
that.
because every other racer got disqualified on a technicality, basically, right? That's what it
Sounds
would
like
be.
you won.
That's true. A win's a win. I don't know.
A win's
Win's
a
a win,
win.
man. Saturday then was like board games in the morning, and then we did some like yard games later. So I did manage to get over there Thursday night for
night.
one game.
Ah, nice.
I've been talking to Phil for a while. We played Dune Imperium. Okay, so I'm a huge fan of the Lost Ruins of Arnak. And right around the same time that Arnak came out, which is a deck building worker placement hybrid, Dune Imperium came out, which is a deck builder worker placement hybrid.
Yeah, baby.
And they're both regarded pretty highly. But I had never played Dune, and I wanted to try it. And I gotta say, it's pretty dang great. And the thing that's good about it is there's like a tension that builds up because you're doing your worker placement spots and you're doing your deck building. You do go through your deck a couple more times than maybe Arnak, but it's not like a normal deck builder where your deck is going to be cycling a bunch of times.
Gotcha.
But the bigger thing is there's also this like combat area. And so some of the worker placement spots you can go to, they'll give you some sort of benefit. And it may be like going up in the tracks with your alignment with some of the other factions, or it may be gaining resources or whatever. But sometimes they'll give you troops, and then also it might give you the ability to put troops into the battle. And at the end of the round, there's going to be the number of troops in there, and then there's going to be like strength from other things. Somebody's going to win the battle, and they're going to win some points for first place. We played a 3-player game, so second place also got something, and third place wouldn't get anything. And the tension that brought was not like it's a fighting game and you need to fight. It was like, if nobody goes and challenges anybody there, they're going to get a huge benefit without any challenge.
Gotcha.
But also, like, okay, so I could try to go there and win it, but if I'm going to go do that, I'm investing a lot of resources that maybe I could spend other places. So it had this interesting balance between, like, I need to constantly be dipping my toes into this fight to make it either worthwhile for myself or to make it harder for somebody else to win.
So who won?
Dave won.
So you went through this mind game and you didn't even win, Ben?
I played very poorly. Yeah, I was way behind.
Psyched yourself out.
So there was like there's a victory point threshold that you go over, and both of the other guys went over that in the last turn, and I wasn't even close. So,
Gotcha.
but it was my
Sounds
first
cool.
play.
Yeah.
You know,
Sounds super cool.
yeah, it was neat. It was definitely something I would try again. I would definitely play better next time. Is it the kind of game like? Do I want to rush out and grab it? Probably not. You know, I like more pure deck builders, more games with more deck building. More. You know, I like a Clank better than I like a
Gotcha.
Dune Imperium.
Gotcha.
And if I want this
More deck building
hybrid,
more.
I think I like Arnak better with the research track and the like.
Yeah. Well, this sounds like it would have to be at least 3 people, right?
Probably even better with more. It's
Like,
probably better
yeah.
with 4.
I was going to ask what the play time is. It sounds very long, just because it's Dune.
Yeah.
Just by the nature of the property.
Dune is like long.
It
Yeah.
can't be
Wasn't
less
too
than 3
bad.
hours. No?
Right.
Okay.
It wasn't too bad because the game ends when somebody goes past 10 points.
But that's
Gotcha.
not too bad.
Huh.
I would say it's not longer than Arnak.
Oh,
Which is
that's
what?
pretty short.
Yeah,
Like
an hour and a half.
hour and a half at the
Oh,
most.
no way. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I thought you were like it's not too bad. It was 2.5 hours. Like
Right.
you know, but that's pretty short. I expected it to be like a
Well,
3-hour game.
Hour
or
and
something.
90 minutes puts it into a game that doesn't require a dedicated game night group to play, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You
Right.
crest over that 2-hour game play, you're in
You're done.
game night. You're
Yeah.
in game group territory, probably.
Yep.
That's interesting. Cool.
Well, and speaking of length, gone completely on the other side of the spectrum. On Saturday, I played Arc Nova at 4-player. So obviously, I've played it a bunch of times, but I was introducing it to 3 new players,
Oh, okay.
and that game is long.
Well, it's long with the 2 of us. It's always the last 15 minutes. I'm like, I don't even care anymore. Somebody just win.
Huh.
Like sometimes it's so close at the end that I'm like, we're close enough. Like, let's get this done with.
And that's because typically we'll play it all like on a weeknight or something.
Well,
And you're
yeah,
like,
by
I'm
the time
getting
we
tired. We
start,
need to go to
it's-
bed.
yeah.
Somebody
Yeah.
wrap this up.
Yeah.
It was nice playing it where like this can go as long as it needs to
Gotcha.
because we started in the morning. But it was
How
like
long did it go for 4 players?
I was like 4 hours,
holy crap.
Oh,
and I don't think it wasn't going particularly slow. I think that is like a
Well, that's
3 to 4 hour
Wow.
game at that
It's
player.
not a
Jeez.
game where you're waiting for your turn, at least. It's just you would have a lot of turns.
You take
Your
everybody
turn
took
honestly
many
takes,
turns.
Your turn takes like 30 seconds to a minute at the most. Like it is very small, you know.
Well, and that was
Which-
the comment that everybody gave. I couldn't believe this was 4 hours because I was engaged the whole time. By the
That's
time
good
it's
at
your
least.
turn
Really?
again,
Wow.
everybody's turn goes so fast. It comes
Yeah.
around to you by the time you've just barely decided what you're going to do next, maybe.
That is true. That's a good thing about that then. But
But every time I play that game, I like it more. This is one that's growing on me in a way that's like, this is becoming like my favorite game. It's just really,
gosh.
I
Who won
can't
that
stop
one?
playing it. Quinn and I tied on points at the end in completely different ways. His attraction level was very high, and just he barely got his conservation points up to it. His attraction level was like the highest I've
Like
ever
around
seen. His zoo was completely full, and all of his attractions in his zoo were had animals in them. All of his enclosures. I was the opposite. My zoo board was like barely covered. But I had like more conservation points than I thought anyone could ever get.
But who won then?
So we both had 23 points. And the
And?
tiebreaker, I think, was like,
Who filled up their zoo the most or something?
it was like number of animals or something like
Yeah,
that. I don't
so
remember
he
what it
won
was.
then?
No, it was attraction. Whoever has the higher attraction,
well then,
which he had it by a
yeah.
mile. So he won.
Man, so 4 hours of so close.
Oh, it was so good. It was so it definitely like there was like some frustration. I think I saw some frustration from Seth in that whatever he was trying to do, he just wasn't getting the cards to be able to do it.
yeah.
Yeah, which happens sometimes.
There's
Yep.
250 cards in that deck. You might just get dealt crap the whole game.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You might have and it's
I've
such a
definitely
big
had
investment.
that.
It's such a long game to get dealt just crap for 4
Yeah, that
hours.
sucks.
Yeah.
and go.
That just happens.
But even
sometimes,
still, what was
but-
it? His score was like -6. It's not like he was a mile
Which
behind.
isn't-
He was
yeah.
one round away from.
It's
from
hard
also
not to show
winning.
your disappointment after 4 hours of
Yeah, right.
bad cards and just
I remember
not being
playing that,
able
though.
to catch a
And
break.
it's like
Huh.
you get all the animals, and I'm like, every card I have a sponsor, which gets you like not necessarily points right away.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, every card I pick up is a sponsor.
Huh.
And you're like, well, look at all these animals I have. And I'm like, God damn it, I can't. I just need an animal.
Right,
Like,
but
so-
then like I was
Yeah.
all sponsors. Like I was like, I don't even have a zoo. I barely had a zoo.
I don't have a zoo. One animal. Well, that's fun though.
It was super fun. I would totally do that again. That experience was great. I would do it again.
I
I'll
wouldn't mind
play.
trying it like 3 or 4 player.
It's long. Like be prepared, but worth it.
Cool.
What else we play lately?
Well, did you want to talk about Maria or whatever? I don't know what that is. Oh man. Who
Okay.
is Maria?
Yeah.
I don't know. I wish I had written it down. Of the whole title, it's Maria something something, Empress of
Antoinette.
Austria something something.
Oh,
It's not
okay.
Antoinette
Gotcha.
then. Okay.
Ryan from the Gamecasters approached me. He said, "Look, I know you're
Oh.
busy. I know you don't like to play online, but you need to play this game on Tabletop Simulator with me. I know that you'll love it. You need to play it." And I was like, "This is a kind of a bizarre request, but sure, I guess if
Okay,
it's that
yeah.
important to you."
What's that?
I didn't look.
You.
I didn't look up the game at all. I didn't do one Google search. I said, "Okay, I'm going to show up, and you're going to teach me." Fine.
Yeah.
And it was me and Ryan and Janelle, emotional cyborg, and he. So it was in Tabletop Simulator, and it's a war game. So think of like chits on a board, like territory control, like not a
Risk?
board game. Well, not Risk is more like a board game. War games is like its own genre. These are these things with rule books that are like C section 19.4
God.
for this scenario.
Yeah.
Right? It's like a completely different genre of
What's
gaming.
that?
It typically
Sorry. What's that one? Is it 1942? Or
It is
Axis
something
and
like that.
Allies.
that's what
You're
I'm thinking
thinking
of.
of?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Axis and Allies. Not
Axis
so
and
much?
Allies is even a little bit more board gamey.
Okay.
But maybe
Yeah.
like stepping into that realm.
But, like close to
Sure.
that.
Okay.
You know, war games are these kind of things they're like simulations, right?
Yeah.
And this is a entry level war game, I would say. It's not.
Really?
It is a board game hybrid. It's not the. It's going to take us a week or a weekend to play this. The rule
Yeah.
book is 50 page or 100 pages long. Like these World at Wards or these kind of stuff.
You're, like, making
These
me
like
sit
war
talking
simulation
about
games.
this.
I would love to play one of those. I just don't know
I would
anybody
love
who
to
would
play
play
it
one with me.
long term. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to have it set up.
Yeah.
And you get like me and you. We don't know anything
Yeah.
about it. We're gonna learn
Yeah.
it together. We're gonna get through it.
And I
then
just kind of like
Right.
reel out of the
right.
situation.
It's because what I like about it is like this mountain to climb. It's like
Oh,
this.
sorry.
It's like this insurmountable thing that somebody designed and built. That's like, it's not casual in any way.
That is pretty insane that
No.
someone like
Yeah.
made rules for something that, but like
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So he says you got to play this, and then he teaches it to us, and the teach was like an hour,
Oh,
and I was like, whoa, okay, there's a lot going on here.
tough start.
The
No offense to him. That's I mean,
Pens
there's
out.
it's the
there's time
Austrian.
limits on that.
Yeah,
Right? I mean,
know, I agree.
It simulates a point in history, I think that's real, where the Austrian Empire was taken over by a young empress named Maria something. That's why the game's called Maria. So she takes over the empire. The Prussian emperor thought this is a good opportunity to take advantage of this new weak
Okay.
leader, and
Yep.
so did France at the same time.
Classic.
So one person plays Austria, one person plays France and Bulgaria or something like that.
I need to like try to look this
I
up.
don't remember the factions, but one person is playing France and
Yeah,
France and then another person is playing Prussia on the and on the other side of the board they're playing this other faction. I can't remember what it's called, and it's not important what it's called.
Huh.
But the interesting thing is the board is sort of split in two. There's like a line down the center because these are two completely different territories that you don't cross between. Now, France can cross over, but essentially there are two different areas.
Huh.
And the crazy thing is, on the one side of the board, there's the big territory of Austria, and France and Prussia are enemies of Austria. So they don't attack each other. They're essentially like allies. They're attacking Austria, but you can't attack each other.
Okay.
There's also Saxony on that board, who is controlled by Prussia at the beginning of the game, but that can change. On the other side of the board,
There's like a lot already.
there's more Austria territories.
Here's the
and,
1 hour teach.
and there's
Narrated
France.
to us. No, I'm kidding.
And there's another territory. These other guys, I can't remember what they're called. I'm so sorry. I can't. The Pragmatics.
Oh,
What?
that's like somebody's gonna yell.
The
at you.
Pragmatics are allied with Austria on that side of the board, but the Pragmatics are controlled by the Prussia player. Meaning on one side of the board, Prussia is an enemy of Austria and allied with France. And on the other side of the board, they're controlling the Pragmatics, who are allied with Austria and enemies of France.
Is there a historical accuracy
Yeah,
to that
did that
distinction,
happen?
or
I
is that
think
just
so.
to make the game hard for the Prussian
No, I think that's
player?
historically
Like
accurate.
shit went crazy.
Here's what's good about it is that because the board is split in half and everybody is enemies of everybody at some part of the board and everybody is allies with somebody on some part of the
Right.
board, it does this amazing job of you have to strategize with everybody and you have to strategize against everybody.
Wow.
And it also keeps anybody from getting butt hurt. Because Emily and I might battle. We might have this really intense battle where I win or like I decimate you or you decimate me or whatever. And it's like, shoot, that really hurt. And 5 seconds later, we got to be strategizing on how we're going to attack France on the other side of the board.
What kind of game developer
crazy.
thinks up like, hey, what kind of historically accurate three-way proxy war can I add 100
Right?
pages of rules to so that I can just...
And they were like, "Do you remember Maria? Do you like when talking with someone
have you heard of Maria
of Austria or what? Is that what it was? I don't remember what it was now."
Anyway, sorry.
It's crazy because I've already gone on a long time about this. I could talk about this for another hour. This game, there's so much going on, and everything about it is so great. But
you enjoyed it.
was
Overall,
so
like
amazing.
Okay.
I'm left wondering why tie such a complex mechanic to an historical event. Like, where did those two things intersect in the
I don't
game
know.
designer's mind?
Maybe it was like some history buff who read about it,
right?
and that,
That's
you
what it
know, right?
sounds
Has
like.
to be like,
And
Why not just
like,
make it up? Why not
there's
just make up?
right?
You know, I
Yeah,
guess that's what
that's
I'm
true.
saying. Is
Yeah.
there's like political stuff going on, and then there's like voting cities that have electoral votes for the emperor, and whoever wins that
Shit.
vote gets a victory point, and everybody's asymmetrical on how they work, and everybody needs a certain amount of different amounts of points
Man,
to
oh,
win,
man.
and you get points by like taking over territories, and Austria
Whoa.
starts the game about to win, and so everybody has to like push them
dogpile.
back,
Yeah.
and then they sort of like can start
And then
working their
they-
way back. We did all kinds of stuff where like
Wow.
I made a deal with Ryan where if he would not take it was like not take away something from me, or it was deals are binding. So if he would take this political card that he had won, which would give me my next general, then I agreed because I had the swing vote in the electoral college that
That you
when
was
that
like-
came up, I would set him as emperor, giving him a victory point. And guess what? That won him the game.
Oh,
So
no.
Oh no.
I was just gonna say who won and how long does the game normally take for anyone who's
Again, this
interested?
you
sounds
knew
like
how to
6
play?
hours.
Yeah.
It could be.
Yeah, let's
if
say
you
you
knew
learn
how to
it and
play,
then-
I bet it's 90 minutes to 2.5 hours because
Oh, that's not-
somebody could
Yeah.
win in the first 2 years, or somebody, if you played it right, you could be sort of like in stalemates for a long time, and then it'd take a while for somebody to
But I
win.
mean, like, it's nice that's a shorter, essentially, if you know it and you and your friends know it, a shorter version of one of those, like, days upon days war
Right.
games.
How long
you
would it
know?
actually take to play? Like if I took it out with two friends and we were
Yeah.
being serious about it? it would probably be like more like a 3-hour game.
Yeah.
But still, that's not that bad considering.
Okay.
I
Based
mean,
on
and
the-
even yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's the same thing you're gonna say. Like based on like everything that's going on and like how like all the things you can do with like allies and this and that and like I feel like it's fun that you could leave it up if you want, or
Yeah.
you could get it done in one night.
Yeah, I tell you, like, I'm not doing it justice right now.
Does Ryan own a physical copy
Yes,
of
he
this?
does. He's owned it for like
Oh,
10
okay.
years. This is not a new game.
So he just also, it's easier to play with people
He
because
had it for like 10
Yeah.
years. He finally
Yeah.
got a play of it. He played it once, and he had just turned around and messaged me, and he was like, tomorrow, you need to play this.
you
I'm
guys
gonna
need
work.
to have like a guys' weekend, and it can,
Oh, it
and
was
then you guys
amazing.
can do it like in person.
And the thing is, I'll say one more thing. The combat system. So when two generals get adjacent to each other, you force a combat. So a combat is done by you have a certain number of armies or troops under each general. That's your starting power. So like I have 5 troops under this guy and you have 3. All right, you're at a -2. So you're first, Em. You've got to come up and meet me or beat me. You have a hand of cards that's like normal playing cards, but it's just 2 through 10.
Okay.
And the only cards you can play are the suit of where your general is. So there's like a grid that's kind of like on the background of the map. Maybe you're in hearts. Maybe you're in spades, whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm in spades and you're in hearts because we're next to each other right at a corner, right?
So you can like add to what your number is.
Yeah, so now you need to start playing cards to try to meet or beat me. And what gets crazy about that is like maybe you play a 4. Now now I'm at down 2. So I play at 10. Okay.
So then I can.
Now
you
I'm
can keep
plus
going.
8, right? What are you going to do? You could play some cards to try to get up to that.
Okay.
And then if you stop, you lose however many you're down, you lose that many troops, you move that many spaces away.
Whoa.
Oh, okay.
And if it's 3 or more, I get a victory point and you lose a
Okay.
victory point.
Yeah.
That's pretty easy though to understand
Interesting.
and whatnot.
And that's it.
Like-
But what's fun is like you get lots of cards. So it's not
Right.
like I'm going to play
Yeah.
a card or 2. It's
it's
like
not like I have one thing. Like,
Yeah, you're-
you better be ready for this, man. I remember Ryan had like 5 hearts cards and they were all great. And he was like, you sure you want to fight me here? And I was like, look, I'm going to give it easy to you. First, I'm going to give you it just at a 4 discount.
yeah.
Because I played a like whatever gave me +4. Then he comes back to make it like +1 on his side. He's like, no, that's fine. Just +1. Easy peasy. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
It was
you're
like,
just draining them of cards. Yeah.
yeah.
and when does he draw cards? We don't draw cards at the same time. That's the thing.
Oh.
France goes first in the round, so if they fought Austria, he has fewer cards. Now I'll fight Austria on my turn. I just draw a whole bunch of new cards, and I get to fight him. I got a fresh hand. He's still on the same hand of cards.
Ah.
But then at the end of the round, Austria's the strongest. He draws a ton of cards, and we're drained from the whole
so
round.
then
So
you're
we better have done something to him because now he just powered back up.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's so good.
Cool.
It's such a good game. I had a good time.
Okay. Yeah. I was gonna
Nice.
say okay. Like I don't know what else to say. That
I wonder
We'll
if there's
have to
I wonder if there's a
go for it.
faster YouTube watch it played or learn to, because I
Yeah.
would love to play that. I love military simulation crap.
I'm sure there
If
is.
you're willing to
something.
Ever wants to play it?
If you're willing to play it on Tabletop Simulator with me and
I'd
Ryan,
rather play it there. I'm not going to fly out to play it with you. So.
Right.
all right,
Exactly.
I'll tell Ryan James.
Well,
Contact Ken and
let me
I.
make sure there's a video I can watch first. I'm not listening to somebody
will-
walk me
you
through
know
the
what?
rules for
Like,
an hour.
Honestly, though, if you were like, I want to play, Brian right now would go, well, I'm recording
He
a
would just
video.
butt, he
on
would like
how
butt
to-"
in here
I know.
somehow.
He pops up and
This is why we don't do it live. This is why we don't do the podcast live. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send him an invite.
I will admit, Ryan is very good at teaching games. So
Is he?
Like, he's-
okay.
yes,
he's
he is.
very
a good. teacher.
good. Like
He's a very good teacher.
it is
don't-
where
still
it's the
haven't
same
met
as
him. I gotta
watching
meet
like
that
a
guy.
video. It's very
Yeah.
like I don't know
Really?
the way he says it is like everything makes sense, and he's
Nice.
really good at that. Where
Nice.
sometimes I'm like, I don't know. Then you do like trying to explain, and he does it
hard to-
like as if it was a recording. So
Even rule books don't always put things in an order that makes sense to me, right?
right,
You're
yeah,
talking about anyway. Everybody's
I
been
agree.
there. Yeah.
we've all been there.
So, Ken, you played Sushi Go?
Well, nothing new
Ooh.
here. We played it with the kids though, which I was
nice.
That's
super
fun.
happy to find that they understood it right away. Right? They like the art. They like the mechanics of it.
Yeah, exactly.
I can see the older one, the 7-year-old, thinking ahead, multiple hands. Right? I can see him watching who has what hands as they move around the table.
Ooh.
That's it. I mean, it was just cool to play with them and have them all, even the, she'll be 5 in a couple weeks, but
Yeah.
even the 5-year-old, like, well, I know how to make pairs and I know what
Oh,
a
that's
triple
Yeah,
is.
cool.
right. I can match the picture. If
Yeah, because we've
anything.
tried, we tried Stella, which is great, but she doesn't quite get the orientation of cards and the board. And we've tried Gubs, which you got to read.
Yeah, it's a lot of reading.
Now we know the cards. We've played that enough to where they know them. What's the other one that we play? Anyway, this is the first one it's really kind of like gelled. I don't have to remind them what the rules are.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's nice.
You know, and the older ones especially like are playing on they're playing a different game sort of
Yeah.
because he knows what cards are in play and stuff. And he's paying attention to how many there are in each of the 4 hands or
Wow.
5 hands or whatever. So we're getting to like we can play a game and
Yeah.
it not be a cry fest for one
Yes.
kid or something.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
man.
feel like we're just going over that hump, and now it's like I just need to make the time for it. Like
Yep.
they could play now,
That's
and I
true.
need to make
Yeah.
it happen.
It's just
Yeah.
why is there no time? Like
I don't
there is
know.
no time ever. At all times they're like, "Do you have time?" I'm like, "No, I don't." Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny is Elsa loves board games so much so that when she makes deals with Calvin, if he wins, she has to like draw a picture with him or something, and if she wins,
Play
he has to play a
Legos.
board game with her.
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
And so, like, they were playing Go Nuts for Donuts, and
They played it today and yesterday.
yep, Elsa was like, "I'm not sure how to play this," and I was like, "This is how you play." I explained it really quick because it's very simple, and she was like, "Okay," and then they played
Yeah.
it.
The only tricky thing
Nice.
is reading, which he just reads it for Calvin.
Yeah.
When he gets one.
Yeah.
Which he can. He probably could read most of it. He's just him being like, "I don't know," and you're like, you would
Right.
if you
You
tried
just-
for 1 second.
Right.
But
Start with the first letter. I don't
Yeah.
wanna.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
want to. Yeah.
But
That's
they
funny.
yesterday Elsa won, today because they always have me add up the score. So and today Calvin won.
All
So
right,
like they
that's
they're actually playing and their scores are close, which shows me they're actually going for some sort. You know, it's not like a random.
Right.
I'll actually
Right.
just grab
good.
whatever.
Good. Small World's next then.
I think
Yes.
maybe we should keep it a little small.
They're ready for Small World.
Yeah. You could do Ticket to Ride.
Yes,
That's
we
easy.
have done Ticket to Ride. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you
That's
go.
We should
definitely
come
a
up
good
with
one.
some it's always situational and it's always kid to kid and parent to parent, but like
Yeah.
general rules for getting young kids into. Like I know
Right.
don't ever teach a new game first thing in the morning.
That's very
Yeah,
true.
right.
I don't know why that seems
It's
it's
like
obvious to
first-
me now, but like my kids want to play in the morning for some reason and like I don't want to teach it to you. We don't have time for that. You know, I don't know. There has to be some sort of rule of like, here's the morning pile versus the evening pile, or we should come up with something.
Ken, you should try Outfoxed. Have
What's
you
I'm thinking
seen
of
that
Fox
one?
in the Forest. No, what's
No.
Outfox?
So Outfoxed is when
Let me write it down.
there is like they slowly draw a card. So there's a suspect who like took something or whatever.
Okay.
And you have to try to figure it out before the fox kind of moves through the board.
Gotcha.
And so you move your little tile and you get clues like they don't have a hat. And then you flip over cards and they'll see them and be like, "Oh, they have a hat, so it can't be them." Or so you're flipping over cards for who's a suspect and you're finding clues. But like the kids love that one. And Elsa and
Okay.
Calvin could play that like all on their own. Like Will could
Nice.
play that easily.
Okay.
So like Will and
Consider
Quinn
it
could like get that out on
purchased.
their own and like figure it out. But
Yeah.
that one's really fun.
That's what
They
we
like
need.
that a
I
lot.
feel like we're right on the edge of like, here's the pile.
Yeah.
You guys can just play.
Yeah, like take it,
1v1,
right? Grab a game and go for it.
3-player. Like
Right.
this is, in theory, this is why my wife and I had kids super close together. We're just coming up on it, right? Like they can play Nintendo.
Yeah,
They can
but
set
that's
that
one
up.
too that like June, even if she doesn't know exactly what's going on, they
Right.
could be like, do they have a hat? And she could be like, no, they don't have a hat. Like she
Right.
could play along even if she's not playing.
Out of all my children, most likely to cheat is June. Although, let me void my own comment though. We played Stella just before this, and we were playing Stella with boards down. So I can see that everybody's has theirs oriented right to mark the cards. And who should I see looking at what I marked? But the eldest. Weird. I'm gonna get max points by copying Dad's board, And then I had to flip it the next round, and he didn't.
Oh
He played it cool, but it's
At
fun.
least he's like getting it enough to know, like,
getting
if
it.
I match Dad.
Yes, he does
Yes.
understand that, right? Which is like,
Right.
well, that's a plus.
Well, because that game is fun, but I don't know how it is with you guys, but my kids pick like 2 cards out of 15. So in Stella, you gotta.
Sometimes we have that.
Oh,
You
no.
kinda
Me and
wanna
Liv
play
are always
Mr.
deep. We're 8
Yeah.
cards deep.
That is where I'm like, I picked 3, and Ben's like 8, and I'm like,
And
what the
Liv
heck
backs
were
me
you
up.
doing?
She's like, I got 7. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
here we go. And we didn't pick any of the same ones.
Yeah, you guys went the opposite though. It's like live Ben. Yeah.
Which is awful because in that game, there's really not a lot of incentive to take risks like that.
The more cards you picked, the more points you can get.
Well,
As long as
In
they match.
theory, as long
Yeah.
as everybody else picked them, right?
Exactly.
So
That's
if you
right.
go way up there, you just sink your own ship.
That's
But-
the game.
yeah,
Yep,
that is a fun game though. That's a good one. But yeah, Outfoxed is a good one for kids.
I'll get it.
We did release on our shelf of Tidal Blades a little while ago, and Tidal Blades is way better than I remembered, and I want to play that game again. That's probably all I'll say about it right now.
Yeah.
Nice.
If you want to know more about it, listen to the On Our Shelf about it.
But I would love to get that out. That's another one that I'm like, we need to play this more.
It's definitely who we played with Evan, right?
Yes.
Didn't we play it again?
No, we almost did, except you wanted to join.
Wow, yeah. So that was when everyone was over, and Ben was like, "Look, all these games work perfect," and I was like, "They play 6," and he's like, "No, they play 5." I'm standing in my house. Like, would you like to find a game
Look,
that plays 6?
I said, do you want to play tonight? Should I get a 5-player game or a 6-player game? And you said it depends on what you're playing.
So you picked
So I was
a game
like,
I just
okay, I'll go
won.
pick a bunch of 5-player
You picked
games.
a game I just won, and you were like, "She must not want to play this."
Don't worry.
I'm also
Once I
gonna say
understood
right
how
now,
bad you wanted to play, we got a 6-player game and it was good.
after
What do you want to say right now?
that I've won Tidal Blades every time.
Oh, there you go.
Man. Breaking
We-
news.
Wanted to throw that in there real quick, just in case.
We did. We had 6 players, and we played Night of the Ninja, and we played
Picture Perfect.
What was the other game we played? Herd something.
Oh, Herd Mentality.
Herd Mentality.
Okay.
That game's
I
an
didn't know.
awesome party game. Herd Mentality, where you're
Yeah.
trying
Yes, I
to you're
forgot
trying
about
to
that one.
guess
Right in the town.
the thing that the most that of all the people answered is the most frequent.
Yep.
So if they say
Makes sense.
best fast food restaurant,
Yep.
your favorite fast food restaurant might be Arby's, but guess what? That one's not the right answer.
Not going to make the cut. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to write McDonald's, not because
Yep.
they like McDonald's, but because everyone's going to write it down, right?
I love that before. So we played twice, and the second time, every time before a question or best pizza topping, everyone would go. Now it's not my favorite, but I'm gonna write this
Right.
down. And
Don't screw-
we all were
don't
embarrassed
mess this
to write
up.
this up or write it down. Though we're like,
Right.
well, in real life this wouldn't be my thing, but I'll
But-
put down the right quote.
And everybody wrote down pepperoni like they were
We
supposed
did
to.
do pepperoni.
I'm so glad you said pepperoni. Let me ask this
So-
question, and this is for
Okay.
the viewers or the listeners.
Mm-hmm.
Is cheese a topping on pizza?
If you ask Phil, it is. because he was the only one who didn't
think
answer pepperoni.
Everyone else
Phil
assumed.
wrong?
Everyone else assumed it
Yes.
was like obvious. Yeah. Okay. Right. Pizza is
can't
a
make a
crust, a
pizza
sauce, and a
without
cheese.
cheese.
Yeah.
So-
right.
It's not pizza
Phil.
without the
Yeah.
cheese.
Phil was like, it has to be cheese, and we're like, that's a
I
given.
love Phil.
Right away.
He like shouted it from the back
Right.
too. He's like
Cheese.
chasing his kid around. He's like, cheese. It's like, no, nobody said cheese,
Phil.
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 Why don't you say
Guess
sauce
what?
while you're at it?
Right. Crust. Like
Go.
we know.
Yeah. But we did. So we did. I wanted
was a
to
fun
play
game, though.
a game that played 6, and I didn't think of a bunch of others that have expansions up to 6 actually. And Seth was there. He hates Viticulture that plays 6, and Caverna is too long, and Clank is fine, and Small World would have been fine.
You just didn't think of those till right now.
But we played Picture Perfect again at 6.
Yeah. I
it
want
works-
to play this.
It worked great at 6. I thought it was. We
great.
played it at 4 and at 6. No difference. Just as fun. Not any slower.
And yeah, same
Awesome.
same time and whatnot.
that game is unaffected by the player count.
Nice.
It's just good.
It is a good party game that's not like the team, monikers kind of party
Right,
game.
right, yeah.
It's more of like an actual game, but it can play a lot more, which
Ton
I
of
like.
fun.
Yeah.
We threw in the expansion for
You guys are gonna make me buy a lot
Movie
of
Stars.
games here.
Movie Star expansion.
I will admit though that Picture Perfect, it is it's hard. Like it's hard to
It's hard to win.
But it's fun either way.
all right.
It's not like but it's definitely where like when you look at it, you're like, oh, it's a goofy game where you take a picture, and then during it, you're like, oh my god! For every envelope you open, you're like, how, and
That can be fun though, right?
but it's
That's-
fun. It is
yeah.
fun because you don't take it too seriously either. Like
Yeah.
if you lose, you're like, yeah, because I messed up this whole scenario. It's fun though.
I liked the expansion because in the base game, the complexity just comes from like, oh, these rules are like impossible to make happen, or I can't remember all of them. The Movie Star expansion adds stuff that's actually like complicated. I want to get a picture with this person, which means that their faces need to be closest to each other than any other faces
I don't think
in
I
the
did
final
any of
picture.
Ah.
I failed.
And stuff like,
Hardcore.
I want to talk to this person. And so then
Right.
they have a direction that they're facing, and they need to be facing the person they're trying to talk
Got
to.
it. Yeah.
It gets just complicated enough that it was like, it went from, okay, this is fine to, this is
It's a puzzle.
This is
then,
in
right?
Yeah.
crazy.
I'm making a puzzle in front of me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
There's
That's
another
fun.
expansion we haven't tried yet. That's Pickpockets. I don't know what that one does. We'll try that one next time.
Sounds like you got to put people close to each other.
Yeah, I'm sure.
If I were to guess, but
All right, what else? We had another game night that was with some friends. We played Dead Man's Draw, which is a push your luck sort of like a goofy game. We just played that while we were killing some
Classic.
time.
That's
Yeah.
such a good game though.
It is a good game. We played a 4-player game of Merchant's Cove, and
That's right.
I
with
never.
Sam and Evan.
The only time I've ever been disappointed in that game was a 5-player game. It was too big, took too long. All right, just to touch on a couple of other things that we played. We played Everdell the other night. Always a fun time. I can't wait to see the new expansions when they show up. Very excited about that.
It's true.
It's not going to fit on the table anymore, though, with all the extra boards.
I don't care.
And the thing I'm most excited to try, and mainly this is because we had so much fun playing Clank Legacy with Ken. I've never played Aeon's End, but I picked up the newest Legacy version of Aeon's End. So Aeon's End is a cooperative deck building game where you're working together to fight a big bad. But the interesting thing about the game is you don't play all your cards on your turn. You have to prepare spells on your turn that will trigger then at the beginning of your next turn.
huh.
Sure.
And the turn order
About that, but okay.
and the turn order is variable. There's like
Oh.
everybody gets a card in a deck and you shuffle it up, and so you might go twice in a row, or
That is true.
you don't know the turn order each round. It's like the round is a deck where everybody's going to go twice, but you don't know the order there.
Yeah.
Sure.
And the bad guy works the same way. The first part of the bad guy turn is execute all the cards that are out, and then the end of a bad guy's turn is, and a new card comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's normally not so bad unless the bad guy goes twice in a row. But the thing about we've never played it before and then just playing the legacy one is the first bad guy isn't like a real bad guy. It was like a bunch of stuff was setting up legacy stuff for later. Like you're filling out a ton of cards and then you were putting them in one of the other envelopes and they're going to come out later. So I can't even say anything about this game because we haven't actually played it yet. We haven't fought a real bad guy.
Yeah. Right.
So
that's why
I don't really know what it's like. It was just us filling out a bunch of cards, and we'll see. It was
like, do a 5-letter name. And you're like,
that's the boss?
David? And then it was like their minions, essentially.
Yeah,
and then,
gotcha.
Yeah, so it was a lot of that. But
it was kind of cool to have stuff that we're helping each other. Emily was like, just stack your hand with spells, and I'll do my ability that lets you play spells early and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool. All right, you know what that sound means? It's time for some listener questions, my favorite part of the show. Emily, would you like to tell us what some people have asked today?
Sure. So all of these, I'm sorry. At night, I'm always yawning. I'm so sorry.
Cut that out too, please. If there's anything that makes me more annoyed, it's when you...
And then I think about how I shouldn't be yawning, and I yawn more. All of these questions, I would say, are from friends. Now, if they don't think we're friends, too bad, because we are.
Because you can eat shit. We are friends. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, first one is from Emotional Cyborg, aka Janelle.
Fellow Maria player.
Exactly. She said.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And a lot of these are like older ones. Would you rather travel the world all the time or settle down anywhere you want?
I think I would get tired of traveling at some point.
Oh, yeah?
What if you traveled the world on a giant luxury yacht? So you had a home that moved with you.
No.
Well, then you'd settle down anywhere you want, I suppose.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
I don't know. Like, I don't want to always go by river. I don't know.
You would go by ocean
also,
most of the
doesn't that
time.
mean you have a houseboat?
Yeah, but I'm thinking like an 80-foot luxury, 100-foot luxury yacht
well, then
with
let's
a crew.
eliminate. We're talking about real property here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's pretend we're not gazillionaires.
Also in the legal sense, land. You have to buy land.
You know, where there's like a crew, and it like
Ben, you're not. Stop.
You're just changing this into what if I owned a yacht? Would you rather own a yacht or
not?
Would you rather?
I would rather.
Yacht?
A crew or not a crew on your yacht?
Do you want a 45-foot catamaran that you sail yourself, or do you want an 85-foot yacht that has a captain
and the question.
Since we're on the question,
and a chef.
Since we're on the question, sailing yacht or motor yacht?
The big yacht, I was thinking motor yacht. The catamaran, I was a sailboat.
Yeah, but pick one. So would you either?
Would you? Yeah.
If I'm piloting it, then I want a sailboat.
You have a crew on both. You own
a
crew on both, but a big
we're talking
sailboat?
about a sailing yacht.
I want a sailing.
We watch a lot of what's it called on Bravo? It's a one show my wife and I watched.
Below Deck.
But yeah,
Below Deck. Yes.
Wow, how did you know it out of everyone?
The sailing show is way better than the motor yacht show.
Yeah.
The motor yacht is just everybody's a hot mess. Clients and stews.
Okay, I guess we want sailing then.
When you're sailing, everybody's relaxed or what?
Nobody's relaxed, but they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I feel like you're like smart. Where the motor one is, you just have whoever.
It's just a big building in the water.
It's a building that just can drive, and that's it. Where sailing, you have to know what the F you're doing, or you don't get on that boat.
Yeah, right. Like, okay, well, we're going to be at like a 20% keel or whatever it's called. Well, that means we need to put away all glassware.
Yeah, see, I want that crew. I don't want the crew that's like, you want, like the...
I don't know, are you having the shrimp or the...
Yeah, I don't want that.
Is a lobster a shrimp?
I like how we both were like,
That's what it is, though.
That is
it's just kids out of high school who...
Yeah. They're
don't
like,
have
look at
anywhere
this
else to
really
go.
professional job I got. And you're
Right.
like, ugh, gosh.
Do you want your
Well,
steak?
you guys are
like,
making me think
cooked a
like
lot
I want
or
to
a
be
little?
like a tour guide. Like I want to
Ben,
be
this is
like
not
an
the
adventure
question.
This is not the
provider.
question. You didn't even answer my question,
Did
let
you
alone
just say
hers.
adventure provider?
Yeah, I did say it. Like you when you're like a rich person who like has to hire the guy who's going to take you,
You
on
wanna
a once
be
in a lifetime
Captain Ron.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to be
I want
Kurt
to be.
Russell
I
in
want to be the
Captain Ron.
underpaid expert who takes rich people on
How
adventures.
did you turn this into like your living fantasy?
But I want to do that.
Okay,
I don't
that's,
care.
That's
What's
not
the
going to
question?
randomly happen. Would you rather travel the world all the time or settle down anywhere you want?
This is incredibly easy.
Now, okay, go first,
It's
and I'll ask
settle
my
down
question.
anywhere you want.
Now, are we
But that's
saying if
'cause
you
I'm a
settle
homebody.
down that you can't travel
No,
ever?
you get to do
No.
your little.
But you just don't
vacays.
like constant. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
settled down.
Yeah,
I would
for
love to
sure.
be the person that's like, I travel all the time. I have a night not in my bed and I'm having an
No.
effing panic
Yeah,
attack.
I can't
hate
wait till
it.
this podcast is over so I can sleep in my own bed for the first time since Sunday night.
Ooh, that's
been 4
gonna be
days.
good. That's
Ooh,
gonna
that's
go
gonna be
real good.
nice.
I
Like,
can't
whenever-
wait to go to sleep.
Whenever like family or friends are like, "Oh, it's fine, we'll sleep on your couch or this or that," I just want to go, "Are you effing insane?"
Don't
I
insult my
cannot.
intelligence.
I
know you don't want to sleep there.
Yes, the fact that you're like, "Oh, it's any bed is fine." The ground, but are you crazy? If someone said, "Yeah, you could sleep on my couch," I want to go, "No." What do you?
Well,
I
I'm good for one night, maybe two.
I wish I could say that. I am
Okay,
not.
I
I am
see.
a panic attack city.
I can
am
sleep
anxi-
anywhere
oh.
first night.
Oh, I wish.
Second night, you got to give me some. What are those classic memes of like when you'd sleep over a kid's house and he doesn't give
A
you a
pillow,
blanket,
like-
so you lay on the frame of the couch with all the pillows on you?
I have a very specific. We were at someone. It was in college. We were at someone's like apartment or dorm, and they were like, "Yeah, New Year's, like sleep. You know, everybody's gonna stay over, like
Sleep
15
here."
people. It's gonna be so much fun." And then
We
the
have
whole
no
night,
pillows.
it
We have
was
no-
it was myself and my friend Brian, and we were just going, why the fuck is it so cold? And we both had like 3 like couch pillows on us, and then at some
Yeah.
point we're like, should we just cuddle together for warmth? Like we were,
Yeah.
and we're on the floor. We don't have any like head pillow. You're just
Oh,
at that point
gosh.
going, should we get coats to put on us? Like I don't know. And everyone's just like around the apartment in weird places, and you're like, what objects would keep us warm?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what gives me anxiety about sleeping other
That
places,
sounds like
but
a
I
traumatic
hate it.
experience.
I hate it
Right.
so much. I just, I can't stand it.
So
when
you're
someone's
saying
like,
settle down.
I'm settled down because I would love to be the person that like travels and plays or stays at fun places, but instead I would get there and be like, I don't feel good, and I'd be. I would be
Yeah,
like,
that's you know what that is.
psycho.
Not to like sleeping aside, like ouch, my tummy. I literally cannot travel the world all I want because my tum hurts all the time. It's an extreme inconvenience at the least.
Oh my god.
Arguably a disability, I think. As far as employment's concerned. It is a disability, but
I do get extreme
So bad.
anxiety when I travel
Captain
by
Ron?
myself. I would
By
love to be
yourself?
Captain Ron. If I'm by myself, I like have panic attacks and stuff, but I'm never
travel
gonna make
the
it back.
best by myself. That's weird.
That's what I would think. I
No,
always think I will.
would definitely travel better with someone. If I was on my own, I
Really?
can't even imagine what my anxiety would be.
I get into all sorts of trouble when I'm by myself.
No way. Well, no.
I was on a
can
bus
travel
that
really
almost
well with
flipped
my
over
wife
in
now
Indonesia.
too, because she knows the drill. It's like, well, he's got to go to the bathroom 24/7, so we're just gonna roll with it. But really, it's like I gotta get everybody going. So, Captain Ron, travel the world or settle down anywhere you want.
Yeah.
Well,
Did you ever
I
pick?
would settle
Nobody
down.
gives a shit about your boats. You'd settle down.
On my
Or
boat
like
that travels the
adventure
world.
captain or whatever the heck you said you were. You're like the opposite.
I would settle down on my boat that travels the world.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so you want a boat. I should expect a boat in our future. Apparently an 80-foot yacht. I like how you acted like that was like, I don't know.
That's gigantic.
You're getting
Exactly.
cute. Ben loves to get cute about answers.
A cute little. Okay, the next one is from Board to Play. Once again, best friends.
Yes.
He
takes.
said,
This is, I assume it's a he. This
Yeah.
is the
Joe.
person who takes fantastic photos, right?
I was gonna say I suggest his account if you don't already
If for
follow
nothing
him.
else,
He takes
Just look at
fantastic
pictures.
photos of like gorgeous games and says,
Yeah.
it's fantastic. So, he said a theme you would really like to see in a game that would be a guaranteed buy.
Guaranteed buy. God.
Emily, do you have an answer for this?
I don't right away because I feel like my theme would be like wine, viticulture. So I don't know. Like,
I don't know. Other
like a
than,
guarantee.
and this is sort of a cop-out answer, tapping into like nostalgia.
Oh,
But that's different for everybody, right?
yeah.
So how do you...
That wouldn't be a guarantee. Yeah.
Right. Like, even if you said, okay, well, experiences people had from the age of 6 to 12, right? Like, I'm thinking of summer camp.
Right.
And I went to one summer camp for 1 week.
And you're like,
And I didn't
This
really
is
enjoy
me.
it, to be frank. But I like the idea of summer camp.
I agree with that.
I don't know.
I do just even like summer as a kid, like
Yeah, each summer.
would be good, but I don't know. I don't
What
have
about,
like
like,
a
What if you did like road trip? What if you made a game out of
Ooh. That could be good.
just the family road trip?
Oof.
That's
That could
pretty
be good.
universal. Fairly
Yeah.
universal.
Do you have one, Ben?
No, I don't. I'm too much of an omni gamer to answer this question because
No.
everything that
gender
pops
is
into my
that?
head. Well, everything that pops into my head of like themes that I'm like, oh, I'm super into, I can then think of an example of a game with
Of a
that
game?
theme that I didn't buy.
Yeah.
The only thing is,
You know, like there's those call to adventure games. There's one that's the King Killer Chronicle, and there's one that's Stormlight Archive. Because I would have been like, sure, if it's King Killer Chronicle or Stormlight Archive, I'll buy it. But clearly, there's two games that have that theme
There
that I
are
didn't
that.
buy. I was looking over here at the shelf at Merchant's Cove. Like, that's such a fun idea, being like a medieval merchant. But there's another game where you're merchants for like D&D style adventure parties, and you just sell them the stuff that they go
Okay.
adventure with. And I don't
That's
have that
pretty good.
game. So, like, the thing is,
I think it would just be something more modern. Everything is like 1700 Renaissance, you
see,
know.
but I like that stuff.
Well, I
And-
like it, but I'm saying if someone was like, if someone says something though, like Ken said, like
Guaranteed
road
buy.
trip, summer or something, I'd probably be like, ooh, that's cool.
What
I-
makes this question hard is the guaranteed buy thing.
Yeah.
Right. I buy games on
theme.
gameplay, and then I enjoy the theme. Like,
I
it's like the
theme.
package deal
Yeah, I'm
gets
reversed.
Yeah. I want the theme, and then we'll see if the gameplay works out for
Yeah.
me.
me there.
Summer's good
don't
though,
know.
just in general.
Yeah. I don't know. It'd probably be like wine or plants, which I looked over and it's like viticulture planted, and it's like I don't know. Okay,
All right. Well,
like-
let's get Vinos. That's making wine
Yeah, there you go.
by Vital Lacerda.
Who's also good? I can hear so many animals like running upstairs.
Click.
Okay,
clack,
last
and
one is from Abroad Games, also best friends.
Yep.
His baby's game big. Congratulations. When do you decide to get rid of a game, if at all? Like, you don't play shelf space. Like, what are the reasons for you, Ben?
I would say typically when I start to run out of shelf space, we'll make a big list of stuff that doesn't need to be on the shelf anymore.
But like, if there was shelf space, would you just keep it?
Yes.
Yeah. Makes sense. If there's
Oh.
shelf space, yeah.
I guess it is like easier also to just keep it.
I
but-
rarely has anything come into our house that I'm like, I don't like that. Like
Can you think of the last one that you were like, no?
No. Stuff that wasn't like random junk that we got like for free from somebody who was like, "Hey, can you play this and preview it?" And
not that.
it's like I don't like this. I can't think of anything that's like.
I'm thinking of one, but I don't want to drag it because I want them to fix it.
Okay.
Now you gotta say it.
I'm not going to say it. No.
Man.
You know, we've talked about it. They know who they are. They'll fix it.
Okay.
You know who you are.
Yeah.
I feel like, well, shelf space is part of it, but also if there's a game that's been taking up space on the shelf that we haven't played in forever, it's like, why do we have this? It's kind of just like clothes or whatever. Like, why do I have this hanging in my closet if I never wear it?
Right.
So it's the same thing. Like, someone else would rather have this, and I, want to get rid of it in that case.
For me, I just think when it comes to gaming, I just like having a variety. And so I always just think back to like, I'd love to play Dragon Castle again. I'd love to play Gizmos.
Yeah,
I
don't want to play Gizmos. I will play Dragon Castle.
Dragon Castle is gone, though. I shouldn't have sold it. It's just kind of like everything that I've had that's gone through here, I've like, I could play that again. But then again, I look at there's lots of stuff on the shelf right now I haven't played in forever. Steamrollers, Quacks Quedlinburg,
And there
Babylonia.
are some that I'm like, oh, we should play that again. Then we play it, and I'm like, wow, this isn't as like, this isn't
that
what
does
I
happen
thought.
for like
so that
older
happens a few
games. There are
times.
some games that are like, that just haven't aged well.
Yeah.
And then it's when you play those again and you remembered them fondly, but they're not that great anymore.
Yeah, or like they're not that bad, but maybe there's a newer game that kind of takes the same place as it, plus it, we like it a little more. So I'm like, well, why do we have both? Because if we have both options, we're always going to get out like the one we like more. So then the other one, why do we have it?
Right.
So like Imperial Settlers, is that what it's called?
Yes.
So that game, like, is good. I enjoyed it. We played it a lot. But then after a while, I was like, I don't know. We have other games I'd rather play in its place. And so that went into the, like, get rid of pile.
Mm-hmm.
But.
For sure.
Okay.
I don't know. It's a tough one.
That's all I have for our Instagram BFFs.
Well, if you're a listener out there and you'd like to ask us a question, feel free to ask a question to the Instagram DM Date Night Dice.
You didn't know where to send it.
And if you'd like to email us a question because you're not an Instagram user, send an email to benmdatenightdice@gmail.com. We'll answer your question on the show.
Woo woo.
All right, guys. I haven't been watching anything, but I'm very curious if you guys have been watching anything interesting.
Well, I didn't remember. Did we talk about how we finished Stranger Things? I mean, I'm not going to talk about it either way, but we finished it.
Maybe we had one episode to go last time, and Ken was like, be prepared because that's 4 hours of watching.
That is the case. You guys had one episode left.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
We finished it. I enjoyed it. Yeah. I don't want to spoil anything, so.
No? Okay.
If you like that
All right.
show, go watch it. I don't
It
want
was
to
good.
It's good.
I really enjoyed that season of that show.
Yes.
Yeah, I did enjoy that season.
I thought it was a very good season of it. Yep. I'll shut up.
Questionable,
Yeah.
Well, that's right. I'm like,
I think it's the best one since the first one.
Yep.
Is it better than the first one? I don't know. I haven't watched it in a couple of years.
Can't beat the
It's
original.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was very good.
Yep.
I've been watching season 2 of Only Murders in the Building, which is on Hulu, is out. So I just started, though. I'm only like a couple episodes in. But I enjoy that show because it's Steve Martin and Martin Short, Selena Gomez, but I enjoy that. Lighthearted
need to
comedy,
watch
drama,
this.
murder, mystery.
It seems like something I would love. Really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you probably would.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. It's on my watch list.
It's a good one.
Maybe I'll start watching it. I tried to start watching The Boys, and I was like,
Eh.
Yeah, I always hear people talk about that, but no.
That's just a little.
I even find
There's a lot
myself
going
watching. I even find myself watching YouTube clips of The Boys, and it's like they're 2.5 minutes long, and it's like, this is kind of cool. This is kind of cool. This is kind of cool, and then I don't
Somebody
like where this
blows
goes.
up.
Yeah, and then a head pops. Or,
What is-
it's just...
What is the? I think I know what it is, but what
I
is
don't
like
even
the
know.
summary of it or whatever?
It's like a world where superheroes aren't good
Right?
guys.
Okay.
Well,
Is it the one with what's?
they're
what's
not
his
bad
name?
guys.
They're not bad guys. They're just not. They're just not
They're not...
heroes.
Yeah.
They're
not
superpowered
heroes.
people.
Yes.
Okay.
They're not heroes.
So they make
Okay.
sloppy
That's what I thought.
mistakes.
Yeah, I don't want to watch
Like
that.
the first season opens up with like the guy who's essentially like the Flash accidentally runs through some other dude's girlfriend, like, and she's just
Oh, I do remember you saying
disintegrated.
that.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
So then he kind of wants revenge, and the whole first season is about him
It's about
teaming up
that.
with the boys who are out to like take down the superheroes.
I think
Yeah.
part
I don't-
of
then
it
there's two
is
more
I'm like,
seasons.
I can only handle so much these days. Like the world is on fire 24/7.
Right. I don't need my
I don't
pretend
need
worlds
more-
on fire to that degree.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
I'm already
Yeah.
struggling day to day.
they have leaned into it being over the top. That's their shtick.
That's
and
the
they're
thing, but that's
by
what
the
I don't want.
time season 3
Yeah.
rolls around, they're not trying to do anything other than be
Really?
just like great. And I'm not saying like gross. I mean, I'm saying like it's just
But it's like-
craziness.
Yeah. It's
I guess
not
I
what
would
you
have
necessarily
expected it to
want.
sort of... My hope is always post season 1 or pilot that you back
Yeah.
off of the insanity. Because we've talked before.
Yeah.
The pilot is always like, let's get those boobs in there. Let's show some blood.
Right.
Let's
Let's
cut a
get-
head
yeah.
off. And it's like this. A lot of shows, the pilot is not at all what the show ultimately becomes.
That is
Yeah.
And this show
No,
feels like a
this
pilot
show is-
over and over.
It's
It's just-
not like trying to like then it does have a storyline and stuff, but
Yeah.
it's not trying to
It's not trying to
they
like,
are
please
just
you in the
leaning
regular
further
way.
and further into our thing is like we're just gonna we're gonna push you past where you thought we'd stopped every time.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Well, and-
pass on that.
I'm not against grotesque violence. Like we watched Invincible, which is a cartoon, and so there is some separation there between like how grotesque can you get because it's cartoon. But Invincible used insane scenarios like that to drive the narrative forward, I guess.
It made there be stakes to the plot, right? The fact that like this person can punch so hard that they like punch through a steel wall. Like then there's
Like, that
stakes to getting
matters.
punched by that person.
Right. You don't get punched by that guy. It's
Yeah.
a big
Yeah.
deal. I don't
makes
know.
sense.
Yeah.
That
Anyway.
show is great. Invincible.
Oh, I can't wait. It's coming back.
I randomly, so I saw an ad for a show called Why Didn't They Ask Evans? And it said it was on BritBox, which is whatever app. It's British TV.
It's not like a
And I-
telephone booth.
Right. And I was like,
It's like
sure,
a
why
telephone
not?
booth.
Let's do this. I thought it would be like a season. So it's a story based off of like a book. It was
Okay.
like 3 episodes, which I was
What?
like, well, they sum that up real quick.
That's kind of interesting.
And I mean, the episodes are
I
like
don't
an
hate
hour,
that.
hour and a half
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
But I expected like a little more, not like summed up in. But because they are British, half the time I want to be like, what the fuck are you saying? When they're like, oh, you got a bully in the back, blah blah blah, and I'm like, what? I'm like, I
Yeah.
probably should have had like subtitles at some point. The way they're just like kind of mumbling shit, and you're like, I don't know what you're saying, but I kind of have the gist of what's going on.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was like a mystery based off of a novel, so it was fine. It was interesting. It was, But then I keep getting ads for more BritBox now, so I think I got
there
to
you
dive
go.
deeper into the British world.
you
so
do.
Here we
Yeah,
go.
man.
But that was it. Yeah, there was definitely a couple times where I was like, I have no idea what you guys just said. Like, I think they solved something, but I'm gonna just go with it and we'll
so
see what
British
happens.
TV for British people.
Yes.
Right? Not-
Yes. It's not for me. Nope.
Not
It's
for the American
I don't know the
audience.
slang. I don't know the mumbles. I can't figure it out, but I tried. And then we watched 2 movies. We watched
Nice.
Oh, we
You
did.
wanna-
these.
Well, based on your recommendation, we watched The Lost City with Sandra Bullock and friend of the podcast, Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
And Daniel Radcliffe as the bad guy, who I thought was the highlight of the. Well, maybe that's not true, but I sort of liked
I
his
liked him.
goofy,
It's all over the
bad
top.
guy, very campy.
The whole
bad guy.
thing
Yeah.
was over the top.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect I mean, it's like a goofy romantic comedy mystery, it's just a fun whatever movie. I enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah, it is just a whatever. I do kind of wish it would have played more into the fact that she writes novels about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I wish that would have that played a big part in the beginning, and then that narrative sort of fell off. And I wish that would have sort of somehow stayed intertwined the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree. Or, yeah, something a little more, but I still thought it was it was fine for what it was. I enjoyed it. I wasn't mad. We've watched movies, especially with the D-list. We've watched movies before.
We've watched some movies.
Where I've been are you kidding me? We wasted a night kind of thing. And this one I was fine with. I was happy about
whatever. It's,
We watched Uncharted.
Tell me
Ken,
about
have you seen this?
No, and I'm not gonna. I've never cared for the video. I tried one video game once.
Okay.
And I wasn't into it. I'm not saying they're bad. I just wasn't into it. So I don't care about this. Tell me all about it.
Well, that was the thing. So I haven't played the video game. Ben, you haven't, right? Or maybe a little bit?
No, I haven't played an Uncharted video game.
So I know, the game and kind of what it's about somewhat. But for the most part, I just kind of went in assuming you could see the movie without the video game. And then once we watched it, I was like, maybe you have to know the video game.
Really?
Maybe you do.
I don't.
What?
First, it was not good. I didn't think it was
Really?
good. So the action scenes were fine, and it was
Yeah, the action scenes
was,
were good.
cool and whatever
just-
for action scenes. But the actual plot and the characters were I don't care about any of the characters. You didn't meet them enough.
Yeah.
I actually dislike the characters.
Yeah, I kind of disliked them. Also,
I'm not rooting for them.
No, yeah. Also, I don't know if it was just me. It was they were all mumbling quietly.
It's just
I couldn't understand half of them, especially Mark Wahlberg. He was the whole time.
Because he was trying to sound like the guy from the video game, maybe.
Maybe. Well, that's the thing. I was is this a video
trying
game
to do a voice that
character
isn't-
or something?
yeah.
I don't know. You just you watch Indiana Jones and you can't help but root for Indiana Jones.
I didn't care about
Okay.
these guys.
Harrison Ford, you're just
Yeah.
he's
likable.
Yeah.
And this was just
And it
Really?
wasn't even
I
that
don't care about these
it
guys.
wasn't that the Tom Holland character was the most likable, but the others are always 24/7 backstabbing each other essentially. Where you're
Oh.
at a certain point, why would I root for
cares?
anyone? Because I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't.
And in a 2-hour movie, you don't have enough time to introduce these people, build backstories, have them backstab each other, have them
Find whatever
get
all
redemption
the
on
stuff.
that or that. It's if this was maybe a season of a show, you would have time to do all that stuff. But in a
okay.
movie, it was it was
It didn't
there was
make
cool
sense.
action scenes, and then in between it was just a bunch of random stuff that's just
Yeah.
they just put
Really?
in because maybe it's in
That's
the game
exactly
or
what it was.
something.
I just thought it would be. I thought that I don't know the video game that well, but it would still be interesting to watch. Instead, I was kind of wow, I wish we didn't rent that. I was so disappointed.
What's up with
So-
Tom Holland and getting cast in these weird movies that go straight to streaming?
Yeah,
We saw this.
I think a lot
We
of it's
saw-
probably COVID time, so
Yeah,
it's probably just all that. But
We saw
I
that
don't
one
know.
that was definitely a COVID victim.
where you
chaos
could
one
see the
with-
thoughts.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I
think
liked
that
that
one-
movie.
Yeah,
I
that was
liked
pretty
that
good.
movie.
I think that one they did, and then it took a long time to get to streaming just because of money issues or something. I don't know,
Huh.
but I don't.
No
I was
go
just.
on Uncharted, huh?
I thought it would be a random, like you said, Indiana Jones. You could watch any of those movies and enjoy it. You don't need to know
Let's
the
watch them right now. I would love to watch Indiana Jones. It'd be a blast.
Did you
I was
guys-
disappointed.
Have you guys ever seen any of the modern Tomb Raider movies or the games? I haven't played or
No.
watched any of them.
Nope.
Because those seem to go direct to.
Yeah.
What's up with this genre that we can't seem
But
to?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
But yeah, because I haven't played any video games, I wouldn't know if it's like, is it because it's not like the video game? Is it because of it? Like,
Right.
I don't.
Because Uncharted and Tomb Raider, both new video games, are very well liked.
Yeah, they're like popular, and yet
I don't know.
I don't know. And then once
Let's
again, I
crack
was
this
like,
nut.
am I supposed to know the backstory from the video
Right,
game? So then it
right.
makes sense. And you're like, oh, that is so. I don't even know what the hell their names were. Whatever. That's so Dave. Like,
Sully
you know.
was the guy's name.
Yeah,
that
I know
was
it's
one of
Sully.
them.
And he's like super.
I don't
I know
remember what
he's
Tom
super
Holland's name
old
was.
in the game. Or he's an old dude.
Which they had the voice actor in the movie. I do know that. At one point, like, did something, and then he was like, what happened to you? And they told him, and he was like, oh, that happens to me all the time, too. Or, like, as if it's, like, a big inside joke. Because I looked it up to make sure it was
Oh,
him.
the guy who does Nathan Drake?
Yeah, who does the voice.
Oh, what's his name? It's like...
It's
like,
not
I recognized
Fillion,
him,
is it?
too.
Now I gotta look it up.
But
Or is it, what's his name?
you can... I don't know his name.
He's
I
a
just know how he
super
looks.
famous video game voice actor.
Right, he does lots of
He
them.
does lots of
He
them.
does everybody.
But once again, I was like, am I supposed to know, like, all the backstory to...
Right. Huh.
I don't know. But
Maybe I should
they
watch
tried
it.
to kind of...
Nolan North. That's the
There
guy.
you go.
He
Yeah.
does Batman. He does. There's one other guy that does video game voices. I'm not.
Yeah,
gonna
there's
think of it.
another guy that does like
There's
the
like
other
two
half
guys.
of the video game.
Yeah,
It's Nolan
Yeah.
North and it's the other guy.
Two
They
It
do
is.
all
They do
male
all-
video game
Unreal.
protagonists. It,
That is insane.
It's white man standing with his back to the video game case, looking
Right.
over his shoulder with a gun. That's what it is.
Yikes.
Well, thank you for that segue. Because
Yeah.
speaking of video games, Ken, I see you're playing a brand new PlayStation 5 game that came out recently.
Well, it's on other platforms. I have
Is it?
only just begun. Yes, I think it's on PC. It's called.
Yeah.
I thought it was a PS5 only thing. Maybe I'm
I don't
wrong.
think so. It's called Stray. You play a cat. You have no
Ooh.
name, and I don't know what you do. It is. It is post cyberpunk apocalypse, right? So, and I'm fumbling through the words of a much better spoken reviewer than me. If cyberpunk is like humanity on the edge of collapse, this is after that. Humans are all gone.
Okay.
There's only cats
And-
and robots?
Cats and robots. And you are a cat. You can meow and jump and meow at robots. And the robots will talk to you, but you can't say anything back.
Oh.
It's super cool. It's very. I love games like this that are just like hyper atmospheric, where you don't get a lot of information. I'm trying to think of like
Journey?
exactly. PlayStation is really good at these sorts of games. Journey. There was another one that came.
There's that underwater one
Abzu.
where you're like swimming with the
Loved
fishes.
that game. Loved Abzu. Where you're just kind of like you're going through the world, and as you go through it, you find out what happened, sort of thing. You're not
Oh, okay.
really a hero. I mean, Stray might turn out to be different. You might turn out to be a cat hero, but
It's almost
You
like
just
environmental storytelling.
yeah, you're
So
just kind
is
of
it-
picking up stuff.
Is it a story you follow, or is it like you can go anywhere? Or is
No,
it like
it's
you
linear.
have to... Oh, okay.
It's linear, yeah. So you go somewhere. I think at some point you get a backpack that allows you to talk to the robots. I'm super
okay.
early in it, but it looks great.
That sounds
The
cool,
cats,
though.
it's got platforming aspects to it, which as a cat is fun because a cat can do a lot of stuff that it just makes sense, right? That it would walk
Yeah.
along this wire or whatever. And the cat looks like my cat. So just
Aw.
an interesting I don't know. I love these sorts of games, and I feel like they
sounds
only
cool.
come along every 5 years, and you
Yeah.
play it, and everybody likes it, and then it's like, boy, I wish we had more of that.
Right.
But you just can't. They're not easy to make, so
Yeah.
it's cool stuff.
I did look it up. You're right. It's on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and on Windows on the PC.
Ooh.
So not
Interesting.
interesting, huh?
I thought it was a Sony game, and so I thought it was only on PlayStation.
Gotcha.
I believe Sony has paid for some of the development or something like that. But Sony's been putting their games on Steam.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I'm waiting
They're
for
waking
Spider-Man.
up a little bit.
I'm
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
I kind of
Isn't-
want to
isn't
play God of
first
War.
Spider-Man? Isn't
I don't
first
think it is
Spider-Man
yet.
on there?
It's going
No?
to be on there, but I don't think
Yeah.
maybe it is already. But I keep thinking I should play God of War. Maybe, maybe not.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't
Once
know.
again, it's this thing of like, oh, we should play or we should try, and I'm like, I don't know when people have time to do anything.
I don't know. I never have time for anything.
Yeah.
I did manage to beat Elden Ring for the third time.
I was just going to
Wow.
say,
So you do have
Elden Ring. I was just going to say, Elden Ring ate all my video game time for the year. So I don't.
Right.
But you
like
beat
you
it
had a
again.
countdown. You can't turn on your computer after so many hours.
I play on Friday nights with Du Bois. That's
true.
it. Yeah.
That's true.
I have been playing the new Forza Horizon 5 expansion that just came out, the Hot Wheels expansion. And it's
It looks really cool.
it's more Forza. With the Hot Wheels area, it's like a new little small map that's Hot Wheels. It's
Oh, really?
cool.
It looks really cool. The kids like it too.
Yeah, it's
the-
crazy Hot Wheels stuff.
Are the controls different? Do the cars drive different?
No. It's still
Really?
Forza cars on Hot
Wow.
Wheel tracks.
It just looks like
Okay.
you're on a Hot Wheel track, like with a Hot Wheel car.
The
There's
track
like
must be huge then, right?
it is.
Yeah.
It's like wide, yeah.
But
Okay.
it does look really cool and fun. It's like you're
Yeah.
in a little toy world, which is cool.
It's maybe like 3 cars wide.
Yeah.
You know, something like that probably.
Really?
Maybe 4 cars wide.
Okay.
And there's like loops and all kinds of things and magnetic track and boosters.
That
And
is true. That's fun.
my only complaint is because I play on one of the higher difficulty levels, if you try to win the races with the Hot Wheels cars that unlock at each of the levels, it's very difficult because the Hot Wheels cars aren't that good.
So what?
Oh,
So like I just unlocked like the S1 or S2 class hot races, and the Hot Wheels car they give you is like an F1 car kind of. But on straightaways, it's not fast enough to win any of the like S2 races.
Gotcha.
Like, you just get blasted by like guys in souped up
Real life
Bugattis
cars.
and stuff.
Yeah. Huh.
well,
Interesting.
I always am racing Ken. His drivatar is always there, driving some bizarre car.
long.
Ken's always there.
I don't know. The only other thing I've been thinking about playing a lot lately is City Skylines,
Oh my
but that's
gosh.
only because I watch City Planner Plays, and it's this guy who's like a real life city planner
Right.
playing City Skylines.
That's
Right.
too much for me right now.
He's very
And City
good at it.
Skylines lacks. It's just missing that
Character.
chef's kiss. I think you said it. It lacks personality to a certain degree.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it just doesn't
It's
have.
just a little too sim. It's
well, we
just
all
a
grew
little
up on
too simulator.
That's true.
like Sim City, which just had that little bit of that Maxis touch,
Right.
that
The
little
goofiness.
goofiness.
Yep,
Max's touch.
it is.
Right.
I mean, it's why they've made
That makes sense.
8,000 Sims games,
Right. Yeah.
and they haven't been able to remake a Sim City for some reason.
I don't know why
what
they
is-
gave
I'm
up.
surprised
They gave
they
up
haven't done
8
that.
years ago,
All right, that was it. That was all we got.
and it was a bad
Aw.
thing. Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
All right, gang.
Oh.
Well,
Nice
that brings us to the
transition.
end of the episode. And I think it's time for some Would You Rathers.
Do you have one?
Not yet.
I don't either. Here I
Oh,
go.
I have a
first.
good Would You Rather.
Oh, you want to go first then?
Yeah, would you rather travel the world all the time or settle
my
down
God.
anywhere you
Oh.
want?
In an 80
On your yacht.
Would you rather be on Ben's yacht or on Ben's sailboat?
Right.
I don't volunteer to go first because I
Okay.
need to.
I
Come on,
found
find
this
one.
one, and I just thought it was funny, so we're gonna go with it. Would you rather be Batman
Okay.
or a billionaire Sonic?
Billionaire Sonic, right?
Well, I don't know. Would
I mean,
you?
obviously, eats chili dogs. Billionaire.
And I'm gonna guess
Runs
that you
sort of
have.
Carefree.
I'm guessing you have to
Right.
look like the Sonic from the newer movies.
Yes,
like you
we're
have
just
to
gonna
be
go
that.
with that
Yeah,
Sonic.
we're going
Yep.
with that. So billionaire Sonic, or you're like, we'll just say whatever Batman's your favorite.
Take your pick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Billionaire
What
Sonic.
do you say, Ben? Look at Ben. I knew this
I'll be
was
right
really
back.
hard for Ben.
Do I want to be Carefree Sonic?
Sonic, he's a
He's
billionaire.
a billionaire.
Billionaire. No
But I'm
worries.
Sonic.
You're Sonic though.
Or would I rather
But you're
be?
Sonic. You can you have those little speedy shoes. You can zoom around town if you want. But Dr. Robotnik's always on your tail. Let's be serious.
Or do I want to be
Batman.
Batman?
And it can
Bruce
be
Wayne.
can be Arpat. It can be
I never saw that one.
wow, I can't think. Christian Bale or Ben Affleck. Jeez, I could not think of anyone. Or who are all the other ones?
Some of the other ones.
What's his name?
Val Kilmer.
Yes, and I'm thinking of the one in between.
You know,
I gotta look
there's
this
something
up.
about The Dark Knight that's like the haunted past, the dealing
You
with
want
the
that?
problems, the being a symbol more than a man,
Mm-hmm,
right? It's not, there's nothing symbolic about Sonic.
Okay, but have we discussed the fact that Sonic is essentially immortal and invincible and
Right, but
You
then
still
you
have
have
to go
be
home.
Sonic. Your best friend would be Tails.
you make it sound like a bad thing?
Yeah, I don't see what the problem is.
Tails is my favorite character.
I think I'd pick Batman.
You're
So
picking
you go
Batman.
home beaten to a pulp with no social. You try. Hold on.
Michael Keaton
This
was
is-
who I was trying to think
You are
of.
You are gaslighting Sonic fans here.
Was George Clooney Batman?
Yes, he was.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Okay.
Val Kilmer, George Clooney, Adam West,
Michael
Keaton. What's his name? Batfleck. Christian
Does
Bale.
Is George
Christian Bale.
Clooney the one where he fights Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Yep.
think so.
that's the Nips one, the Bat Nips. where
Yeah, the
nipples
bad
are in
nips. I want to be
and
that
there's
one.
a butt crack
You want me George
molded
Clooney?
into his.
George
Batman?
fighting Poison Ivy. I want to be in that sort of like, am I with or not with Catwoman? Like we're kind of together, but then she like keeps like undermining me. But then like I gotta save her, but she's really
First
a bad
of all,
guy.
you have to
mean,
live in probably the worst town in the world.
Right.
There are bad guys littering that.
I have all
like-
kinds of cool tech. I'm always
Did
trained
you
in
guys
martial
watch
arts.
the Batman yet?
We still.
will. We will.
What are you doing? You haven't seen that movie and you're still voting for Batman?
Oh.
Oh, I guess
Oh.
maybe that would change my vote. Well, okay, we need to watch
No,
that.
There's
I don't think it
honestly
would,
like
but-
there's bank robbers and there's people putting things under the platonic, like, I don't know, like shit is going crazy in Gotham and you're
can't
still,
believe
you're like, I would like to
anyone-
be Batman.
Why would anyone ever want to be Batman?
I'm gonna take Sonic. I'm gonna zoom around
Yeah.
town.
Sonic
With my
seems like the
billionaire.
obvious choice.
Yeah.
Billionaire Sonic? What? Like
Where
you were.
did you find
Doesn't
this
Sonic
question?
have-
I was just playing devil's advocate here.
Reddit.
Everybody wants to be billionaire Sonic.
Oh, you were not. You're
That's all he
Batman. You don't
says
get to
now.
be billionaire
I still want to
Sonic
be
anymore.
Batman.
Okay.
All right, gang.
I
Would
gotta
you
find
rather
one. Hold on.
eat
All
a
right,
jar
go
of mayo
Like straight up with a spoon.
or eat a tub of butter?
Fuck.
Butter, I think.
Let's make it more like grocery store. The jar of mayo that you would buy, or the
You act like there aren't multiple sizes of everything.
2 cups of butter sticks, 4
Like,
sticks of butter.
Straight up.
You could even
4
hold them and eat them.
sticks.
It's 4 sticks of butter or a
Oh,
normal
making me sick.
We
size
bet a kid
of
in high
mayo.
school to eat a stick of butter, and he did. Just straight, like no
No issues?
issues. Just
Which one is it gonna be?
Ah,
I know what I would pick.
what?
I think it's butter.
I'm gonna eat the butter. Definitely butter. No questions asked. I don't.
Have you ever
I don't
had
have
too much
zero
butter on its own, though?
Oh yeah, love it. I have zero desire to eat like by the spoonful.
I don't have a
mayo.
desire to have either.
That's the thing. Yeah, but like a butter stick, at least you can take a bite out of and just
Can I?
get it down. Just
You
swallow
just sort
it.
of, it would slide down too as it like warms up.
Okay, please stop talking.
I'll tell you what, by the time you're done with 4 sticks of butter, your esophagus would just be like, you could absolutely swallow anything.
It'd be like a slip and slide.
Yeah. You could eat screws. mail.
It would just slip on
I guess
in.
I would do butter. I feel like both. I'm
guess?
gonna like vomit either way. So I'm.
I pretty much eat a stick of butter a day as it is, so.
I wish. All
A
right.
stick of butter a day.
Yeah.
Would you rather get, and I'm going to modify this. Would you rather be temporarily, and I'm going to call it, gosh, this is hard. Would you rather be lost for an unknown period of time beneath the ocean, exploring the ocean, or be lost for a temporary period of time exploring space?
Okay, in the ocean, and like I have the right gear and shit.
You
though?
have
Or
you
what?
have the appropriate gear. But
like
in
I'm
both
not
scenarios,
like fighting for oxygen or something in either case.
I don't know. How deep did you go?
Shit.
In both scenarios, you have the gear that got you there. You don't know how long you'll be there. Can't contact
Well,
anyone.
Here's the thing. I probably have a better chance of getting out of the ocean than out of space. I mean, if anything, it's like, let's try to go up. But I feel like I would almost find less spooky shit in space. Because
Yeah,
in space, there's
I
a
would
lot
agree.
of room. In the ocean, there is some crazy shit down there.
You know.
that I don't want to run into.
You know there's something down there.
There's more. So what I know is crazy shit. There's more stuff that I don't
There's
want to run
definitely
into.
more shit down in the ocean.
And I don't want my body to then be down in the ocean.
And this is
with
coming
that,
from an
like,
alien fan, right?
Where, like,
search the skies continuously.
in space is like spooky, like trying to get home kind of thing. But I don't think I'm gonna like bop into a new. You know, I think I'll do space.
For some reason, there's something about the ocean that it's almost like
Scary
it's an
than
environment.
space.
No, it's an environment even less that we're even less suited for than space. For some
Yes.
It's
reason,
ironically
Yes.
more alien than space.
It is so scary.
like space. The only problem is that there just isn't anything.
It's just lack of resources. in
But
space,
the ocean
that's
is like, I mean, actually in some sort of like alien world that I can't
and
deal with.
everyone down there is doing great. They're doing fantastic.
right.
And
They're in
I
their
am-
element.
I'm in
Well,
struggle
okay.
bus city.
Here-
I'm not running into those creepers out in space.
I'm not
Well,
worried about
did you
creepers.
see
I'm
Jupiter
picturing the
ascending?
scenario where
What are you not worried about?
you're
creepers?
outside working on the satellite and something happens and your line breaks and you're floating off
Too bad, so sad.
with you don't have like a jetpack on or anything. You have detached from whatever you were connected to in space and you're on your own floating off.
Yeah, that sucks.
In the exact similar scenario, you're on the ocean floor, you're a deep sea welder or something like that, and the diving thing that you went down there on, your like line to it broke, and now
Yeah.
you're stuck down on the bottom of the ocean
With
floor
those
in the dark.
creepy effing fish.
There's
are,
no
like,
monsters.
zooming around with the light.
Would you rather be abandoned on the ocean
definitely
floor
God no.
monsters.
God no.
or
Definitely monsters.
and
Yeah, I
slip
like
away from
No,
your?
you keep being like, there's nothing spooky in the ocean. There is, Ben. No, I don't want to be in the ocean.
I
End of
think I
story.
would. Which one am I more likely to get rescued in?
No, that's
They're both
not the
equally
question.
difficult.
The question was not which one would you likely
You
more
could get
in.
rescued. You could.
Here's the thing. Space, the view's better.
Yeah.
It's
Boy.
dark. It's pitch black in the
It's
bottom of
pitch-
the ocean.
It's pitch
Super
black in space too, but I do
claustrophobic.
not.
Nothing to see.
I do not want to be in the. No.
Did
don't
you
like
ever
that.
hear the story of that guy who was like a deep water welder and he got there was like a storm up above, and one of the engines failed on the ship, so it started to drift, and so he got pulled along the superstructure of the well, and then he got stuck, and then his cable, which had his air hose, got like, and it broke off.
So what did he do? He's dead?
He just held on. He held on to that thing for like 40 minutes without air.
Wait,
what?
Yeah, what do you mean?
Well, he had some air in his suit for like 20 minutes.
I was like,
This is a real thing. Look this up. He had like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I believe you.
He had
Your
some
facts
air.
are very.
It was so
lacking detail.
cold. It's so cold down there and such high pressure, so your oxygen
You don't need as
concentration
much.
is very high. That after his air ran out, he like essentially fell asleep, and then they eventually got back to him and saved him.
Holy shit!
That is
But he was down on the bottom of the ocean for like 40 minutes without anything
I don't
connected
like
to
that
him.
at all. Him just floating around on the bottom of the ocean.
Well, luckily he like grabbed onto the thing because the ship was it started pulling him along when he was trying to do his work.
I don't like any of this. I know. This is no.
So I think we're saying space all
Space.
around.
At least you get to look at space as you drift off into nothingness.
If I'm gonna
As I fall back into
if
the
I'm
atmosphere.
gonna die either way, space.
Imagine you're gonna fall back to the atmosphere. At least
Yeah,
like that's
that's
kind
cool.
of a cool thing. You're like that Red Bull guy.
Wow.
Is this another story?
You know that
You
guy
guys ever
who
think of
jumped
that
out of
guy?
that like
do,
weather
like,
balloon or
hot
whatever,
air.
like
Yeah.
180,000 feet
I
up.
do remember that.
He was like wearing a
No.
spacesuit.
Yeah, he like went into space and jumped out of the like weather.
He
balloon
rode like a
thing.
weather balloon
How
up
do you
to
go
space.
down?
You just go.
He
for
just
it.
jumped out.
You jump down.
He opened the door of his like little capsule and he just jumped out.
So
He
he
essentially,
was
like,
still within gravity's pull.
Yeah, he
That's
like
what I'm asking.
skydived from space though.
Okay.
But it was like to the point that he could like he was above, like he could see Earth kind of thing, but he was
Okay.
still
I want. All right,
so
next Red Bull
stupid.
guy. I want you to go up into that thing where that plane that goes in and out of orbit.
Oof.
Yeah.
Get the balloon just above that, and then he gets out of
Just
the
ride
balloon,
the wave.
floats, goes back, and like kicks off the bottom of the balloon. He has to kick himself back to Earth. Squat jump back to Earth. It would work.
Let's do it.
All right, gang.
Gosh.
Well, I think that brings episode number 47 of the Day Night Dice podcast to a close. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Me and Emily are going to be heading to Gen Con this week.
What? Oh my gosh.
So if
Oh,
you
man.
would like to come say hi, if you see us, feel free to walk up. I will keep this mustache simply so I'm recognizable because
You'll have a mask.
I'm not
on.
sure whether it looks good. Oh, I will have a mask on.
Do you want me to draw a mustache on your mask?
Please do.
What
There you go.
mask? What are you talking about?
you gotta wear masks
we have
at the
to
convention.
just in the
Oh, not
Yeah.
like a Kylo
no,
Ren
not like
thing.
a
Okay.
like Halloween mask.
Not a
no.
cool mask.
Go check out this Tuesday. If it's the week this episode releases, there should be a Gen Con preview up on the Board Ventures YouTube channel. And watch next week for a Gen Con recap we're going to do with the Gamecasters.
That's right.
Again, if you'd like to contact the Date Night Dice podcast, send an email to benmdatenightdice@gmail.com or send us a message on Instagram.
What
Just
just happened?
fart.
Thank you to all the Patreon members who bought our last D-list movie. That was
Yeah, it was quite the
fantastic.
trip. Actually, it was a pretty good
It was
movie.
a good movie, so thank you.
All right, well, until next time, we'll see you later.
Bye-bye.